All right, so you're prepping for a filament winding operator interview.
That's awesome.
We've got some really useful resources here from RoleCatcher
Yeah.
to help you, really stand out.
Hmm.
So we're going to kind of dive deep into some of those tough interview questions
Okay.
and give you some insider tips on how to tackle them.
All right.
Plus, we'll sprinkle in some insights about the career path itself.
Sounds good.
It's kind of like having a cheat sheet, but a lot more fun.
I like that.
Okay, so what's really cool about this role is that it combines hands-on work with a high level of technical precision.
Definitely. You're working with these amazing machines, creating strong, lightweight structures using composite materials.
So let's just jump right in. First question, the classic. What experience do you have with composite materials?
Yeah.
Now, you might be thinking, what if I've never worked with them professionally?
Right. That's where you have to get creative. Think about any projects, hobbies, even classes where you've dealt with similar stuff, like did you ever repair a surfboard?
Oh, yeah.
Or build a model airplane. Even working with fiberglass for a home improvement project.
Yeah.
Anything like that counts. It's about showing you grasp the basic ideas and that you're good with your hands.
Exactly. And if you've had some formal training in composites, this is your time to really shine. So let's say the interviewer follows up with, what are some challenges you face working with composite materials, and how did you overcome them?
Okay, good one. So this is where you can really highlight those problem-solving skills. Maybe you had a project where the resin wouldn't cure right. Talk about how you figured out what was wrong, did some research, and adjusted what you were doing. Interviewers love to see that you can think on your feet and you aren't afraid to troubleshoot.
I see. Okay, next up. How do you ensure the quality of filament wound products? Remember, precision is key in this role.
Absolutely. So think about the steps you'd take during that whole winding process to make sure you're getting a top-notch product. You can mention things like carefully checking the filaments for any defects before you even start, consistently monitoring tension, the speed, and really meticulously double-checking that final product against the specs.
And here's where RoleCatcher's AI can really give you an advantage.
Oh, how so?
Well, by analyzing the specific job description, it can highlight which skills are most important to emphasize in your answer. So if the posting is stressing attention to detail, to really hit that point home.
Oh, I see. So it's like having a personalized coach prepping you just for this specific interview.
Exactly. Now imagine they dig a little deeper and ask, can you describe a time you spotted a quality issue with a filament wound product? How did you address it?
All right, so this is your chance to share a specific example that shows you're committed to quality. Maybe you noticed a slight variation in the thickness of a wound part. You could talk about stopping the production process, figuring out the cause, and working with your team to fix it.
Okay, moving on to a question that really tests your technical knowledge.
Yeah.
How do you troubleshoot filament winding equipment?
Oh, yeah.
Now remember, these machines are complex. And things can go wrong.
Definitely.
Don't be afraid to show that you get the mechanics and can think things through systematically. Maybe the filament is breaking during the winding. Would you first check the tension settings?
Right.
Inspect the guides for any wear and tear.
That's the kind of thinking they're looking for.
This is also a great spot to show off any knowledge you have of diagnostic tools or software that are used in the industry.
Yeah, if you know any, mention them.
It shows you're comfortable with technology and that you're proactive about finding solutions.
And even if you're not familiar with the specific software used at that company, you can still impress them by talking about your general way of troubleshooting. Highlight that you can read technical manuals, look things up online, even reach out to experts for help.
Right. All right, let's tackle another question that's all about efficiency. How do you optimize filament winding processes to increase efficiency? Now, this might seem a little daunting, but think of it like this. You're always looking for ways to do things better, right?
Exactly. Everyone wants to work smarter, not harder. You can talk about how you look at the workflow, figure out any bottlenecks, and brainstorm ways to make things smoother. Maybe suggest rearranging the workspace or tweaking the order of tasks to cut down on downtime.
And if you've ever worked in a lean manufacturing environment, this is the perfect place to mention that.
For sure. And even if you don't have formal lean experience, you can talk about your general approach to constant improvement. Do you track your progress and look for patterns in areas where you can do even better? Interviewers like to see that you're always looking for ways to improve.
All right, safety. Safety is a big deal in any manufacturing setting, so they'll probably ask, how do you ensure the safety of filament winding processes?
Absolutely. And this is more than just knowing the rules. It's about showing you're truly committed to a safe workplace. Talk about what you know about safety protocols specific to filament winding. Maybe you've had special safety training or certifications.
You can even go a step further and impress them. Talk about things like doing regular risk assessments of the area, being proactive about spotting potential hazards, even suggesting improvements to the safety procedures.
That's a great point. You want to show you're not just following the rules, but actively thinking about how to make the workplace safer for everyone.
And just a quick reminder, RoleCatcher's AI can be really useful here too. It can look at the company's safety record and culture to help you tailor your answer. So if they have a strong focus on proactive safety measures, you'll know to highlight your experience in that area.
Makes sense. It's all about showing that you'd be a good fit for their team and their values.
All right, next up, a question that really measures your understanding of customer focus. How do you ensure that filament winding products meet customer specifications?
This is all about precision and attention to detail, but it's also about communication. You need to show them you get how important it is to meet those specs perfectly, and that you're willing to work with others to make that happen.
Think about it this way. Every product you make represents the company, so getting it right is essential. Talk about how you meticulously double-check your work against those specifications, use any quality control tools they have, and communicate clearly with your team so that everyone's on the same page.
And don't forget to mention that you're willing to go above and beyond. Maybe you've even got some experience gathering feedback from customers to make sure they're happy. That shows you're not just focused on finishing the task, but on really exceeding expectations.
Now, let's say the interviewer follows up with, have you ever had to deal with a situation where a product didn't meet the specifications? How did you handle it?
Oh, good one. So honesty and transparency are key here. We all make mistakes, right? But it's what you do after that matters. Briefly describe the situation, focusing on what you did to fix it and how you made sure it wouldn't happen again.
Maybe you had to rework a product or put in a new quality check. The important thing is to show that you can solve problems and learn from your experiences.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher can help you put your answer together by analyzing similar situations from other filament winding operator interviews. It's like having a whole library of good responses at your fingertips.
All right, 2 more questions to go before we wrap up this section. How do you maintain production schedules in filament winding operations? Time management is crucial in any manufacturing role, but it's especially important when you're dealing with a continuous process like this.
It's all about prioritizing, staying organized, and anticipating any potential hiccups. You could talk about your experience using production planning software, your ability to juggle multiple things at once, or how you stay calm under pressure.
And if you've got any experience with lean manufacturing principles, this is a great place to bring them up again. Talk about how you've used those principles to improve the flow of production and minimize downtime.
And even if you haven't formally used Lean, you can still highlight that you understand the main concepts. Have you ever found ways to reduce waste, work more efficiently, or streamline processes? Share those examples.
Okay, last question in this set. How do you ensure the proper handling and storage of filament winding materials? This might seem pretty basic, but it's really about showing them you understand safety regulations and that you care about keeping your workspace organized.
Yeah. So think about the specific materials involved, resins, fibers, catalysts, and how you'd handle and store them safely and efficiently. Mention that you know about material safety data sheets, MSDS, proper labeling procedures, and systems for managing inventory.
And don't forget to emphasize that you pay close attention to detail and always follow the established rules. After all, you're not just handling materials, you're responsible for making sure they stay in good condition and are safe to use.
Exactly. It's all about being careful and preventing accidents and, keeping a safe work environment.
Absolutely. Speaking of safety, let's switch gears for a minute and talk about a question that might not seem directly related to the role, but is actually really important. How do you ensure that filament winding processes comply with industry regulations and standards?
Right. So this one's all about showing you're not just a skilled operator, but a responsible professional who understands the bigger picture.
Yeah.
You got to demonstrate that you're up to date on the rules.
Exactly.
And committed to staying that way.
Think about any specific standard certifications that apply to filament winding and be prepared to discuss how you've incorporated those into your work.
Yeah.
Maybe you've got experience with quality management systems like ISO 9001, or you've been part of audits, inspections, that kind of thing.
And don't be shy about showing some initiative here. You could mention, proactively researching best practices and attending workshops or conferences to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Shows you're dedicated to continuous learning and improvement, which is always a good thing.
Definitely.
Okay, so that commitment to learning can really pay off when it comes to career growth.
Absolutely.
Now let's look at some insights from RoleCatcher's Career Guide for Filament Winding Operators.
Okay.
I'm always curious about how a niche role like this can actually lead to so many different paths.
I know, right? What's exciting is filament winding is used in so many different industries.
Oh, yeah.
Aerospace, automotive.
Energy construction.
Exactly. So you could specialize in a sector that you're passionate about.
Yeah. Imagine becoming like the go-to expert for filament winding in renewable energy, working on, cutting-edge wind turbine blades or those high-pressure tanks they use for hydrogen storage.
That'd be awesome. Or maybe you're more drawn to the aerospace industry.
Oh, yeah.
All about that precision.
The innovation.
Building those lightweight, durable aircraft components.
I see.
The guide also mentions opportunities to move into leadership roles.
Oh.
So as you get more experience, you could supervise a team of operators, manage production schedules, or even oversee quality control for a whole facility.
Wow. And there's also the potential to dive deeper into the technical side.
Oh, yeah.
You could specialize in process optimization, working with engineers to, refine winding techniques, develop new materials.
That's cool.
Or you could transition into a role where you're the one training new filament winding operators.
Wow.
Passing on your knowledge and skills to the next generation.
Nice. So as you're prepping for this interview, think about your long-term career goals and how this role fits into that bigger picture.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can actually help tailor your answers to highlight the skills and experiences that are most relevant to those goals.
It's like having a career counselor built right in.
Right. Guiding you towards opportunities that align with what you really want.
I like it. Okay, so let's go back to those interview questions for a sec.
Okay.
Remember we talked about how RoleCatcher's AI can break down job descriptions and pinpoint those key skills to focus on?
Yeah.
Well, it can do even more than that.
Oh, really?
It can actually give you feedback on your answers using natural language processing to see how well you're hitting those main points.
So it's like having an interview expert critique every word you say,
Right.
but without the judgment.
Exactly. And you can even record yourself answering those questions
Oh, wow.
and get AI-powered feedback on your delivery body language.
So it's like having a personal coach and a film crew all in one,
I know, right?
right in your pocket.
Okay. Speaking of practice, let's tackle a question that often trips people up. What are your salary expectations?
Yeah, this one can be tricky. But remember, it's a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get paid what you're worth, but you also want to be realistic about, what the market is for this kind of role.
For sure. RoleCatcher's AI is super helpful here. It analyzes salary data for similar positions in your area.
So you can see what others are making.
Exactly. Giving you a realistic range to work with.
So instead of just throwing out a number, you can say something like, based on my research and experience, I'm looking for a salary in the range of X to Y.
Yeah. And remember, you don't have to commit to a specific number right away.
Right.
You can always say you're open to discussing it based on the whole package and the specifics of the job.
Okay, good point. Now, let's say they hit you with a behavioral question like, tell me about a time you faced a challenging situation at work. How did you handle it?
Oh, yeah. Classic interview question. They want to see your problem-solving skills, how you handle pressure, your overall professionalism.
So think about a specific situation where you hit a real obstacle.
Right.
And walk them through what you were thinking and what you did.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to fix a technical problem, resolve a conflict with a coworker, deal with a tough customer?
The important thing is to pick a story that shows your strength and how you can overcome challenges. Remember, it's not just about the result. It's about how you got there. How did you approach it? What steps did you take? What did you learn?
And just a reminder, RoleCatcher has a whole bunch of sample behavioral questions.
Oh, yeah.
And tips for answering them.
Cool.
So check those out if you're feeling stuck.
Hmm.
Okay, we've covered a lot today.
We have.
From mastering those technical questions to, navigating those tricky behavioral ones. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's shift to something that's often overlooked.
What's that?
But incredibly important.
Yeah.
Networking.
Oh, yeah, networking. It's amazing how many opportunities come from just connecting with people.
I know, right?
It's not just what you know, it's who you know. Building a strong network can open so many doors.
To jobs, mentorship.
Valuable insights.
You just wouldn't find anywhere else.
And it's not as scary as it sounds. It's
Yeah.
really about building genuine relationships with people who share your interests, your goals.
And RoleCatcher can actually help with this too.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that network feature we mentioned?
Mhm.
It's like a CRM for your career.
Okay.
You can bring in your contacts, categorize them, track your conversations,
Cool.
even connect with other RoleCatcher users who have similar career interests.
That's awesome. So while you're prepping for your interview, don't forget about your network. Reach out to people who work in filament winding. Ask for advice.
Yeah.
See if they have any insights about the company or the specific role you're going for.
You never know what valuable connections you might make.
Speaking of valuable connections, let's talk about building a strong professional profile.
It's not just about your resume anymore.
No, it's about creating an online presence that shows off your skills, your experience, your personality.
Think about it like your personal brand.
Yeah,
What do you want people to know about you and your expertise in filament winding?
that's a good way to put it. And RoleCatcher can help with this too.
Oh, really?
They have a great profile building tool that guides you through the process.
Nice.
You know, creating a profile that really stands out and highlights your accomplishments, your aspirations.
I see. You can show off those technical skills, industry certifications,
Yeah,
even your passion for filament winding.
exactly. And remember to keep it updated
Yeah.
with your latest achievements and experiences.
Good point. The more you put into it,
The better.
the more opportunities will come your way.
Okay, now as we wrap up this part, let's switch gears one last time
Okay.
and talk about something that might seem a bit daunting, but is actually super exciting. The future of filament winding.
I know, right? I love how this field is always evolving with new materials technologies.
It's a dynamic industry with huge potential for growth and innovation.
Absolutely.
Right?
Think about how composites are being used more and more in everything from aerospace and automotive to renewable energy and construction.
And as these materials get even more advanced, the demand for skilled filament winding operators will just keep going up.
Exactly. So as you're prepping for your interview, remember, you're not just applying for a job.
You're right.
You're embarking on a career journey
Yeah.
in a field with a bright and exciting future. So with that in mind, let's talk about how you can, set yourself up for success in this ever-changing field.
One key thing is to stay ahead of the curve with all the new technologies and trends.
Absolutely. The world of filament winding is always innovating.
Always.
New materials, processes,
Yeah.
new applications popping up all the time.
And RoleCatcher can actually be a great resource for staying in the loop.
Oh, really?
Their platform is constantly updated with industry news insights, even job postings that highlight the latest skills that employers are looking for.
So even after you land that filament winding operator job,
Yeah.
keep checking back with RoleCatcher to see what's new and exciting in the field. You might find a specialization you hadn't thought about before,
Yeah,
or discover opportunities to, level up your skills.
exactly. Speaking of leveling up, let's talk about continuous learning.
Yeah, professional development.
In any field, but especially one as dynamic as filament winding, it's so important to keep sharpening your skills.
And expanding that knowledge base.
Think of it this way. The more you invest in yourself,
Yeah.
the more valuable you become.
And there's so many ways to do this.
Yeah.
Taking online courses, attending industry conferences, pursuing certifications, maybe even getting involved in research projects.
And RoleCatcher can actually help you pinpoint relevant learning opportunities based on your current skills and career goals.
Oh, wow.
They have a great resource library with links to courses, certifications, professional organizations that can help you, take your career to the next level.
I like it. And don't forget about mentorship.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Finding someone who's already killing it in the field can be so helpful.
Absolutely. They can give you guidance, support, and those insider insights that you just wouldn't get anywhere else.
You can even connect with potential mentors through RoleCatcher's networking feature.
Cool.
Reach out to people who inspire you, ask for advice, see if they're willing to share their experiences.
Makes sense. All right, so as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of filament winding, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
This is a field with massive potential for growth, for innovation, for personal fulfillment.
Yeah, if you're passionate about working with your hands, if you're fascinated by technology, excited to be part of an industry that's shaping the future,
Definitely.
then a career as a filament winding operator might be the perfect fit.
It could be.
And with the right prep work, a commitment to continuous learning, and a proactive approach to networking and professional development,
Yeah.
you can achieve some pretty incredible things.
Absolutely.
So go out there, ace that interview,
You got this.
embark on this amazing journey.
And remember, RoleCatcher is here to support you every step of the way. Good luck.
That's it for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.